What is up, everybody? I am Kevin Iole. Thank you for joining me. And my guest right now, one of my favorite fighters to interview, of course, one of your favorite fighters to watch. He's been so exciting over the years. I'm talking about the former UFC bantamweight champion, Cody Garbrandt. Cody, welcome. You got a tough fight coming up next week, UFC 300, Deiveson Figueiredo.
Yeah, very excited for that fight. Finally 4 years in the making. So we're a week out and just very excited, feeling very confident going into this weigh-in, into this battle.
He is coming off a win in December over Rob Font, and that tells me he's a legitimate bantamweight, right? Rob Font is a top guy, has beaten a lot of good guys in the division, given a lot of other really good guys good fights. The fact that he defeated Rob Font says something to me. What does it say to you?
Yeah, he came in and fought a very durable, tough, you know, gritty veteran of the division. Like you said, he's been, faced a lot of the top guys. He beat myself in a 5-round fight as well. So I know what Deiveson, was able to do inside there. That's why I called the fight out. They fought a week before me. That's something I wrote down fight week that I wanted to fight. I'm going to knock my adversary out, Brian Keller. I'm going to call it Deiveson. That's a fight that I want stylistically. I think it's a great fight for me. And just here we are, like I said, a week out, made it happen. The power of manifestation and visualization is so real.
You know, I think you've had 3 careers in the UFC, right? The beginning until the Dominick Cruz fight. Then you had that stretch of 5 out of 6 losses. And then 2023 became a really good year for you again. You look good in there. You won both of your fights. The crowd was going crazy in your Brian Kelleher fight, right? Even when you walked out, they were happy to see you, right? And then you performed the way you did. What do you attribute this most recent turnaround to, where now all of a sudden you look like the Cody Garbrandt that was a championship contender?
For me, I have to contribute um, a lot to the mental side, focusing on working with a sports therapist, Micah from the UFC PI. He works for us UFC fighters. Work with him for about 2 years now. We're just saying, just a lot of things that were getting away from me, leading up to the fight. One thing is about being present, being engaged. I was always, in the UFC, give you a fight, you win this fight, you're going to fight for the title. It's always like looking forward, instead of not looking at what's at the table, looking past, and that was something, to be engaged and to be present with all aspects of your life, So we did a lot of mental training, a lot of, stuff that we've been, breaking down and working on for 2 years now, that I just go in there. I just had a session. I go every Thursday with him. We go in there, and it's nice to hear he's proud of me. Of it's your he's your therapist saying that he's proud of you, of how you've grown and the skills that you've learned and are able to use in everyday life. Fighting
Sure.
is such a small proportion of what we do. So just being able to be present and everything, and control what I can control, and not hold on to things that don't concern or don't, you know, are a big thing at the end of the day. So I think a lot of that is the mental, just the fortitude that I have going into these fights.
Interesting.
Knowing, yeah, I think that's what I'm still as skilled, still as strong, still as fast, still as elusive. That's not. Never been a decrease in any of that in any of my fights. On top, being a world champion, my skid coming back, that's all there. The skills are there. It was the mental approach, learning how to deal with some things that just happen in life. We were so taught to be so tough and not speak about it, but you're having these. Why am I having these thoughts? These intrusive
Right.
thoughts. Like you always just told the push them in the back and just work harder, and that's not the case. So really going in there, and I remember the first like 6 months working with him was very hard. I remember driving every Thursday, like I'm gonna text him and just say like I got pulled over, or oh, I got a flat tire, making all these excuses where I didn't have to go to those sessions. Those were the hardest sessions to go to. I'll go train for all day and spar and do that, but like when I was getting into it, peeling back those layers of the onions, as he says, that was difficult. I'm like, I don't want to go talk about this shit. I don't want to go have to
Right.
deal with it, but I know that's what I needed to do. And you could see, glimpses in the Trevin Jones fights, in this last fight, Brian Keller, or like things that happened that a lot of people don't know, like going into both those fights, you know what I mean? The injuries and the thoughts and the things that are just the intrusive thoughts that you have going, walking to the octagon, get ready to fight, but being able to manage those, keep calm, keep, what you worked on, trained on, those are thoughts that are going to come in and out of your mind. The human brain is just an amazing thing, very powerful, but you have to learn how to, control the thoughts. And then if you don't like that channel, you got to change the channel. So just working on that, I think that's what's been, I guess, a huge difference in, my success from 2003, 23.
What did you have a moment when it finally clicked? Because, like, I know, they tell you that in golf all the time. Like, you can't control the shot you just hit. You can only control the shot you're about to hit, right? And so, but people, it's still hard to do, right? You can't, damn it, I got a bad bounce and went in the water or whatever. In your case, like, obviously there was things that were causing you issues that you weren't able to get over. When did you finally feel like the teachings that he was giving you took hold? And do you remember like a specific moment when, hey, I left that behind me and I was able to overcome the problem I faced?
Oh yeah. Early on, I, noticed things that I was catching on, like, all right, let go of that, focus on this, and then I would repeat, like, hey man, I was in sparring and felt like I wasn't letting my hands go enough. I was, just waiting a little bit, and then we work on, okay, but just, each week, like, hey, being just brutally honest, like, hey, I didn't do enough takedowns in sparring, or I didn't, get enough grappling rounds. And so, like, hey, I felt this in the grappling. Like, all right, those are thoughts, those are things that come in. Talk about that. How can we, when those thoughts are, you know, arise, how are you done with them? Are you holding on to it, after you leave the gym? Like, oh, you didn't land that right hand, or you didn't get, the takedowns in the round, or are you, all right, resetting, I think that's like a key word that we always say, reset, not every punch, not every takedown there, not every position the fight's going to be in your favor. So you have to do those resets, do the resets. So knowing that in my training, I was realizing that, okay, I might not have this combo down in sparring, or I might have not landed this right hand. I wasn't doing things that I needed to do, but I was resetting after each time. Okay, knowing in my mind, okay, this is what I need to do. Back on the feints, back on the movement, sticking the jab, and also in like everyday life, you know what I mean? Like someone cuts you off, you want to fucking go crazy and get a road rager on me, all right, let's, maybe that person's having a bad day too. You know what I mean? Maybe they got some crazy, more difficult things going on in their life. So being able to like have the patience for that, but understanding of like, all right, not grabbing him cutting you off wasn't the worst thing that happened in your life. You just let it go, move on, go about your day. Same thing with training. If I didn't land that right hand, I'm not gonna sit there and think about it all day. Like, man, I should have landed that right hand, or I got hit too many jabs, or I wasn't moving. The little things. So just taking it away, but doing the resets and throughout your whole day, of your whole who knows what can come in your day. You know what I mean? So yeah, just doing resets daily on things.
Are you proud of what you've done in terms of as a human being, right? Because I think of the time, it'd be easy to flip out on other people. It would be easy to blame other people for, your problems and change trainers and change managers and just blame everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And are you proud of the fact that, you showed the character within of yourself during your tough streak and you went through it and you never gave up and you figured out a way to solve your problem and maybe show yourself your character that you really have?
Yeah, I feel like that's speaking on like mental fortitude, that's mentality. That's believing in yourself, even when a lot of people stop believing in you or stop answering your calls or stop showing up for you. At the end of the
Right.
day, you got to believe in yourself because you're the person that gets in there on Saturday night in the octagon to fight. You're the person that gets up every morning, puts in these long hours of training and the diet and the, all the stuff. So really just believe in yourself. There's people who are going to come in and out of your life, the people that stay, the ups and downs, those are your real people. So just understanding that, I'm very grateful and thankful that I was able to be a world champion at 25, under 2 years in the UFC, 11 professional fights. I was so green, and then I saw the business side of it and saw the side of people, for what you were as world champion, things like that. So I'm grateful. I'm a veteran at 32 years old, and I still have so much fight left in me.
Yeah.
That like all that is, a blessing, to be honest. Like I can look at like, oh, it was, world champion this and the skid and now back. That's my life, man. Like I just, you know, chop wood, carry water. That's
Yeah.
what I've been doing my whole entire life. And I'm grateful for the career that I have. And, if I would have just kept winning, been an invincible at 25 and doing what I was doing, you know, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have the love for the sport anymore. I wouldn't
Right.
have any, more, drive to get up and do this, But for me, it's the drive that I still love this. I still enjoy this. I'm still grateful that I get up every day and get to do something that I love. There's so many people in this world that wake up and have to go to a job that they hate or come home to something that they don't like, just because they're content with it. For me, I never wanted to be, complacent. I wanted just to keep grinding and motivating. That's why I love staying busy in fights because, having a routine and structure and then having a date like, all right, this is our goal. This is our fight date, 8 weeks from now, you write everything down. I write everything down on a notepad, all my training sessions, my PT sessions, my conditioning, everything, my mental sessions, my PT, my physical therapy or my sports therapist. And at the end of the day, I check this off, check this off, check this off. After 8 weeks, I can look back on my file. Okay, you didn't miss any training sessions. You didn't miss any PT. Like, you didn't miss any of your sports therapy. You didn't miss any of your massages. You did the extra. You did extra cardio. Your weight was good. I write little notes like how I was feeling this week after. And I look back on, okay, and each camp is like, all right, um,
Interesting.
so small deposits for the big deposit comes next week. That's how we have to do it. We don't get paid every day, but the big payday is, fight night.
I love the way you're talking. So that'll lead me to my next question. So getting on UFC 300, this most stacked card in history has got to be an honor, right? You're one of 11 current or former champions on that card. But somebody had to draw the short straw and be the first one to walk out, right? So you and Ed Deiveson, both former champions, are going to be the first ones to walk out. How did you react to that? Like, you're used to fighting on the main card, you're fighting in front of the big crowds and everything. Now, I'm hoping, and I talked to John Anik about this the other day, that hey, there might be more people in Las Vegas than normal for an opening fight, right? But what do you expect when you walk out? And did it bother you when you heard you're going to be the kickoff fight?
No, not at all. It's funny that you said when we first got announced, I was at the UFC Performance Institute and Heather, Dr. Heather was there, PT, and she's like, it's like, it's be good, Cody. You're up early, you train early, you already got 2 or 3 sessions in by noon or 1, like exactly when you're fighting. Then also too, it's like for me, it shows what I can do. Pack a place at 3 o'clock. It's hard for me to get there in the opening fights. I've never been to a first fight in the UFC because it's a long day, long night, but it's exciting to see what we can do. Let's put people in the seat, go out there and give them an amazing first fight, open up the card as a historic UFC 300 will be with so many amazing athletes performing that night. But I'm thankful. I know exactly when I'm fighting, what time I'm fighting. I'm excited. I'm excited to give the fans, waking them up early, and
You
so
haven't even thought about it, but you got a benefit out of it, right, Cody? Because you're going to get to see all the other fights. Nobody else on the card will see every other fight. You're going to see them all.
I'll be home by dinner. I'll be home by dinner. Eat a good dinner, hang out with the family and friends, my son, my dogs. I mean, it can't be scripted enough. As better. I'll do the winning tour after with the media. Go home. They pick me up from my house. They drop me off at the house. So it's perfect.
There you go. Let's talk briefly about the fight, and we'll let you get out of here. Deiveson, obviously former champion, a guy. I think he struggled to make the weight at 125. So certainly, as his performances, he fought 4 fights in a row against Brandon Moreno. You got to weigh his weight issues into that. Not to take anything away from Brandon, who I have great respect for, is a tremendous fighter. But certainly, the weight has to be an issue. Now that you saw him at 135, you know what he does. What kind of fight do you expect out of him?
Talking about the weight thing, that's something right there. That's a mental thing that he wanted to bring up in an interview he did, that he thinks I'm mentally weak or whatever. I don't know how it translated from Portuguese, But that right there, he gave up on himself. He gave up. He didn't even have someone that was trying to, break him down and put an elbow through his skull. It was he gave up on himself, like we just spoke about. You have to believe in yourself. That's
Right.
the middle thing is be able to push. And he's missed weight a few times, so I feel like he was just an oversized bantamweight suffering to bully flyweights. You know what I mean? So now he's at bantamweight, and it's exciting. I'd done the flyweight before. Weight was easy, made it like a champ, but I just didn't feel good there at that weight. This is my weight. I like to eat. I like to lift all camp. I like to super train hard. I don't like to take any of my skill work back. But seeing him at 35 was good. I think that the fight with Rob, like I said, got a lot of love and respect for Rob and the New England cartel. But I just don't think that Rob posed enough threats to him. He kept it standing, didn't really diversify the martial arts, to really tax Deiveson's cardio. Deiveson kind of sat back and let, his, Rob fight at his pace. I think that's something that Deiveson is going to try to do. He's not a volume striker. He doesn't really move too much side to side. It's really back and forth, straight back and forth. So for me, I saw, I was excited to, that's the call out. I like that fight for me a lot, first and foremost for us to be able to fight 4 years prior, not happening, but now it's, he's at bantamweight. He's number 8 in the division, puts me right back there. I'm going to finish him, and it's going to be an exciting fight, until it's not, until I put the lights out, or until I choke him out, until he just is, he gives up on himself. So that's what I'm excited to do in a week's time.
Last question for you. I think you're back, so I'm not going to ask you if you get back, but I think you're back now. But if you win another championship, if you become the UFC bantamweight champion after everything you've been through, what will that mean to Cody Garbrandt to be able to come full circle and have Dana wrap that belt around your waist one more time?
I mean, the first time was great. I don't think you can script, and I don't think there's another title fight that had that kind of masterclass performance against one of the best bantamweights to ever grace the world, Dominick Cruz. So I mean, it'll be different. The feeling will be different, but I think that it'll be more meaningful because it wasn't a straight shot to the top. It was climb, fall, climb back, fall, climbing back. I had to get all my tools out to climb this mountain, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm strapped in. I'm 10 toes down in this game, and just excited to go out there and showcase to the world that I'm still here, that I still love this sport. I'm still grateful to be able to wake up every day and chase this dream. And when my time's called to fight for the title and be a world champion again, I'll be more than ready.
He's already written one book, and I have a feeling when he wins that title a second time, there's going to be another book coming out. So, Cody Garbrandt, we appreciate you, brother. UFC 300 on April 13th at T-Mobile Arena. Be there early for the opener so you can see Cody and Deiveson. I can't even say the last name. Deiveson Figueiredo. Best of luck to you, Cody. Thank you.
Kevin, thanks so much, buddy. Have a good one. See you next week.
See you, bro. Bye.